up, AI tools are not allowed on any of our state meetings that we are recording. So if we see an AI tool that logs in, we will be removing them. So we ask that you please do not use those in our meetings. Our team has changed a little bit since we were together last. Martha Moore, who was our senior director, retired. So this is our team. I'm Amy Floyd. Tracy Riddle is with us. She is the Director of Educator Effectiveness and works with you on portfolios and AGMs. Micah Fager is our Director of Team Training and Support. She assists Tracy with AGMs and portfolios, and she also is in charge of team training. Sarah Brown is not with us today. She works with educator recognition. And we have our team contractor, Candace Robinson, who works with all of us on just a little bit of everything. She's learning everything, and we're happy to have her. Today, we're going to talk about finalizing 23-24 evaluations. I'm going to spend a few minutes talking about partial year exemptions, LEA contacts, and entering your fall observation data. So, as you know, LOEs have generated. So you need to finalize those. They must be signed by an administrator. And then once the administrator signs it, and that's simply you put your PIN number in. Once the administrator puts their PIN number in and clicks the complete form button, it will pop up another window that gives you and ask you a question. You know, the educator has to, if the educator has declined or is unavailable, you fill this out. If not, you just hit cancel, and it'll send them a message, and they can put their PIN number in. The educator can refuse to acknowledge just because they don't want to. They may be on leave. They may not work in your district or your charter anymore. You may have their files on a hard copy of your that you keep within your organization, or there could be another reason why they're not signing. And then you would put your PIN number in again and click save. To check your evaluations, if you use the evaluation scores by educator report, columns P through V has all of the information about the signing of the evaluations. Column P tells you if the administrator has signed it. The Q will give you the date. R tells you who signed it. And the same things for the educator. Column V will tell you why they refused, if they refused to sign it. If you find an educator that did not generate an LOE due to any missing data, any data that you have can be entered. So if you have a teacher who did not generate an LOE because for some reason her observation average was not uploaded, you can enter that now. If you have it, you have to do that with an administrative edit. And once you enter that information, we can get the LOE generated. If they're missing a growth or an achievement measure, the same thing is true. You can use an administrative edit to enter those scores. Now is the time for you to think about partial year exemptions for the 24-25 school year. So educators who are employed for contracts of less than 120 days or fewer are not full-time. If there are, somebody's not a full-time. If they're just working an hour a day in your schools, they are not full-time. You mark them PYE. If they're even in T Encompass, you mark them PYE. Somebody that comes in and fills a maternity leave is not going to, you're not even going to put those in T Encompass probably, and they're not going to work more than 120 days. So that if they do end up in T Encompass, they should be marked PYE. Full-time teachers who would otherwise receive an evaluation score may be eligible to receive a partial year exemption under the following circumstances. If they've been on extended leave and cannot provide 120 days of instruction to students to receive the evaluation score, you can mark them as PYE. If they've transferred to a different school during the year and won't be able to provide that 120 days of instruction, you can mark them PYE. If they've transferred to another role during the school year and will not provide 120 days of instruction to students, you mark them PYE. So if a teacher takes on another role, if they are a teacher and they are moved to an administrator, they should be marked PYE because you are using two separate rubrics to evaluate them. If they transfer to a different school, they've got different evaluators. Um, if they're not going to meet that 120 days, you should mark them as PYE. If they were hired late and are not going to meet the 100, if you're hiring somebody now, you put them in T Encompass, but mark them PYE. Partial year exemptions shall be identified by the charter school in the state evaluation system, which is T Encompass. And educators who get a partial year exemption do not receive an evaluation score or an LOE for that school year. There are two ways you can identify them. You can set it directly from the educator's record, or if you have a lot, if you're in a big system that has a lot, you can actually import teachers. You can do that using the import wizard. Most people just set it from the educator's record. Christmas is after the winter break. Excuse me. After the winter break, a lot of people changes in their district organizations, in their charter organizations. So we ask that you please go into LEA contacts in T Encompass and look at that and see if you need to update anyone. Somebody may have changed role. You may have a new evaluation configurator or a new portfolio lead. Whatever, we need you to go in. This is what we use to contact you for various things throughout the year. So to do that, you go to the administration tab. Your organization will pop up. You just click on contacts. It will open up this window. You can see all of the contacts that we have. The last three are only for districts. You don't have to worry about those. If you just need to update an email, you can just click on that email and erase it. If you need to change everything for this person's left, click the eraser button here and it will remove all three pieces of information and you can add that back. If everybody has changed, I'm so sorry if that has happened to you. If everybody has changed, you can do the clear all button over on the left here and it will clear it completely out and you can start all over. Just be sure you hit save when you finish. If you are a teen district, you need to make sure that you are meeting pacing. You can use a guide in T Encompass for that, the pacing guide report. If you are not a teen district, you have your own pacing with your own evaluation model. Make sure you're meeting that pacing and getting the observations done in a timely manner. So the next steps for you are to ensure that your evaluations are being signed, enter any missing data if needed, mark your educators who should be PYE, mark them as PYE, and review your contacts and update. Monitor your observation pacing to make sure everybody meets pacing for the year and gets an average score at the end of the year so that we can generate an LOE. These are some resources. This evaluation pen completion instruction tells you how to do it, and it has screenshots also. The T Encompass Evaluation Data Management Guide can help you get in PYE and also missing measures. T Encompass reports and charts, those are really only useful for a teen district, but you can see your observations in a chart, how that's going. And then your partial year exemptions, that's just information on who should be partial year exemption and who shouldn't. For support, you can always email team.questions. We answer questions about T Encompass, observations, growth measures, TVOS, and the alternative growth measure, Universal Reading Screener. If you have questions about achievement measures or if you need information about evaluation training, which would be certification for people to evaluate using the team observation model, you can email team questions with portfolio questions, email portfolio.questions. With roster verification, which will be opening this spring, it's where your teachers go in and claim students to generate an individual teacher growth score that will be used as part of their observation or their LOE average. You email rv.questions@tn.gov. And these are all ones that we don't answer questions for, but you may need them. Educator licensure, they can help you with anything about license, professional development points, experience, things like that. Tassel information for Tassel academies. Administering the universal reading screener. If you have questions about that or the reporting from that, please email tn.universalreadingscreener. We don't handle the administration of that assessment. And then for all other assessments, it's 10 Ed assessment. If you have questions, just come off of mute, please. There's no need to put them in the chat or anything. We have a small group.
For her to carry around her laptop.
I don't know if anybody else has questions, but I had one. So I don't know if you're able to answer it. I don't think it's really related, but I just thought I would ask.
We'll try.
Our school principal, our school leader, is stepping into one of the classrooms, and her license is for social studies, and the class is ELA. So of course I'm trying to apply for her a waiver, and it wouldn't let me. It said that she would need to apply for it, that's what I assumed, because she was like higher than me in T Encompass. And so I had her go in and apply, but she doesn't have all the options that I do to like upload anything. So I'm just not sure like how I can continue.
I think you're going to need to email educator licensure for that.
Okay.
We can try to look at it. Sometimes we have luck with license, and what we know about licensures is what we've learned from working in a school.
Yeah.
So they are the experts. I would just email them and send her license number, and it may come back to she needs to email them, but that would be your best option.
Alrighty, thank you. Sorry, I know that's not related, but
That's all right. Okay, Ms. Chantel, question related to growth. Yes, ma'am. If a teacher generates an individual growth score, that score will be used for the growth portion of their LOA. It'll be used as 35%. The individual growth score does not trump the achievement measure score, so you will still need to put that achievement measure score in. You can't use an individual growth score as an achievement measure. That answer it for you?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, 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 yes. I have terrible feet.
Your connection's not great. I'm pretty sure that's what you were going to say. If you have any other questions, you can put them in the chat, or you can email me or team questions. Okay, if you don't have any more questions, you can have a little time back. You get a few 10 minutes that people think you're in a meeting. So everyone does select a school-wide growth measure, regardless of if they anticipate getting an individual growth score. So everybody needs a school-wide growth measure in T Encompass. You don't select individual growth scores in T Encompass. Okay. Please just reach out if you have any questions. You can email team questions, or you can email any of us.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.